Hi there guys, welcome back to Winslow Walks. You join us here today in Brookswood, which is also part of the Redwood Forest, but we're in Brookswood at the moment. We're surrounded by, I think it's maple trees. Got there's a little oak here. We've got all sorts of bits and pieces in this forest. Lovely surroundings. I've just found this little tree up behind me. I'm going to do just a pyramid sort of top, just lean up to one area. I've got to test out that sort of sleeping arrangement. We're going to be going to the Lake District, and I'm going to be bringing you guys along, and we're going to be having a great time up there. I think it's going to be really quite wet, so that's going to be a good experience. I haven't done much sort of wet weather hiking, and it's going to be periodic showers, sort of 40-50% of the whole time I'm up there. We're looking to do at least 7 days, maybe 10, maybe even a little bit more. I'm looking to go from Oxenholme, wherever it's called, which is on the east side of the Lake District, and then going over Scafell Pike towards St Bees on the coast, which is actually the same area as the coast to coast. That's where it sort of starts or finishes from. That's where you go from one side to the other, which is a walk that we will be doing soon at some point. But some great little things that I want to hit on today. One being obviously the quality of the camera. We've just upgraded the phone from an A20 to an A40. Not much of an improvement obviously, but you can definitely tell the camera is way better. And today I'm using a Dayton Audio IMM6C, I think it's called, but that's a calibrated microphone, so you should be hearing me nice and crystal clear, without any distortions, without any crackling, with less wind noise, less background noise, and it's omnidirectional. So if I stand over here, or if I stand over here, and you're using a decent pair of headphones, you should have heard me going from one side of your ear to the other. So enough of that nonsense. Anyway, we've got a few little bits of equipment, or gear as some people say, that I want to show you guys. Really excited about this, so let's flip the camera around and we'll see you in a minute. So this is what I'm really excited to show you. The Osprey Ether 55. Absolutely great pack. So many straps. These, they call it, these straps is like a really good cinch it all up. Got this great little toggle on this design on here. You just literally pull that. Great for gloves, everything like that. That's brilliant. And then another one I like, this red strap, holds everything down, keeps everything nice and tight. They're really good. So I start on the outside, so on the, you've got all these different cinch straps everywhere. Bit too many really. So we've got a waterproofs in here. We've got the ground sheet there. That's in this, what they call a shove it pouch. You just unhook it there and just, like I say, shove it in. So that's really good for things you need to access quite quickly. You've got two little funky designed clips on here. These are really good. Quite like how they're designed.
And then you got the straps there, they're nice and really long as well. And you got like the loops that you use for the ends there. You've got these little tie-off points. This is what you use for the daylight pack, guys. If you're ever wondering, that's what you use for the daylight pack. I'm not sure where. I think it must be that one. I'm not too sure. But there are websites. There's instructions on the website. Ginormous brain on this. Like, there must be 10 litres in there as well. Really good suspension system. Got the air escape on there. Really, really good. We've got a lighter leash so we don't lose the lighter. These side pockets, really handy. They've got holes at the bottom so you can kind of grab from the side or you can grab from the top. And then inside, right, so like I said, really good design on that. And we've got our jackets, got the waterproof jackety coat thing, and then we've got a fleecy warm thing. We've got a big bottle of gas, some food, loads of food in there, big bottle of gas. We just use the cheap store ones like QD Roy's, sort of stuff like that. And then we've got the OEX cook pot in there, OEX stove. This is all my power stuff in here. We've got all the cables and the power bank. And then, oh yeah, managed to, sorry about that, guys, we got a bit cut off there. So this is all my spare clothes, which is actually obviously a sleeping bag. That's all my spare clothes in there. Lots of pairs of socks. We've got some microfibers. I use these for my feet to keep them dry, sweat free, and I also use that if I need to on the tarp or anything to keep it dry if I spill anything. And then we've got the hammock, which is basically like a hawk hammock, all folds into itself. And it's got the bug net in there as well. And then we've got the DD Solo Tarp S, which is their lightweight version. And in that bag there's also the hammock straps and my ridgeline. And then I think all that's left in there, you've got a divider and then my sleeping bag. So that's the bag, guys, that's the setup. We'll go through it a bit more individually. Just wanted to touch on the ridgeline for a second. This is what I've made myself. It's a bit of maple that I've whittled down, sanded down, and there's a bit of Dyneema. Really strong, highly recommend getting some Dyneema. And then we've got the webbing straps. These are not what come with the hammock, these are what I've brought separately. They're a bit better, got a few more loops on them. The more loops you have, the more adjustability you have, so that's always good. So going in there, we've got like 5 boxes, 5 socks, 4 t-shirts, some thermal stuff, thermal trousers, thermal top, balaclava, a hat. We're looking to be quite cold, and it's also going to be wet, so if I do get wet I want to be able to get warm. So that's the tarp itself. We've got some little plastic S-beaners on there and some more Dyneema, some thinner Dyneema than that other green stuff. Go through the food. We've got some couple of tins of some fish. We've got these 3-in-1 Nescafs, a couple of these sort of mugshot mac and cheese things, and like the pasta and sauces, and then we've got some army ration instant porridge and muesli. And I always bring olive oil. Now this, I only put like a little bit in every single thing that I eat, apart from maybe the muesli and the porridge. But everything that I eat, I try and give a little bit of this. The amount of calories that are in olive oil is phenomenal, and it just keeps you going, lubricates you up. And then we've got the power side of things. A little bit special in here, nothing crazy, but we've got a ginormous 40,000 milliamp hour battery, and that literally will last a week. And then I've got a 100-watt charger that is capable of charging this within about 2 hours, which is phenomenal. And then we've got a little tripod-y thing for the phone, and we've got the 100-watt cable there as well. That's actually capable of 200 watts. And then we've got other miscellaneous cables that are only sort of like, you know, 10, 15 watt cables, but these are for smaller devices, lights and stuff like that. And I think that is about all, guys. We'll flip you back round. So that's all the stuff there. We're going to get cracking. I'm going to put you on a tripod, and then we are going to get set it up with all of this sort of stuff, and probably going to do a sort of time lapse of me setting up for you. See you guys soon.
Right, so this is the setup. Got it pinned down to the floor on a prosit knot, so it's a bit tight. And you got a prosit knot on there with the S-beaner onto the top. That runs up there. And you got the same sort of setup here. S-beaner, prosit knot, ridge line. And then that's round there with the toggle. And you got just a loop that goes round the toggle and back on the tree, and the ridge line comes out of the middle of the toggle. There's a hole in the middle of the toggle, so it just loops back round on itself. I don't know if you can see that. You can see there, it just loops back round, loops over the line there, over the toggle. Does that make sense? If you want any help with any of these prosit knots and stuff, give us a shout, give us a comment underneath, or send us a message or something. But it's nice and roomy underneath, like, surprisingly, honestly. There is a lot of room. Alright, it's really quite spacious, and it's quite nice. The sides, these are these bits of Dyneema. That's just a lark's head over the top there, and then we've got some sort of hitch. I forgot what it is. It's 3 inside and 1 outside. I've forgotten what it's called. I think it's some sort of trucker's hitch or something there. But that just slides up and down on that line for adjustability. And then, yeah, that's that side, and then you've got it obviously on the other side as well. Nice and taut. Yeah, it's not storm proof at the moment because I'm not in a storm. I'd probably have it a little bit tighter, maybe even run the ridge line through these to make that just a little bit extra tight on there. I'm possibly going to bring a couple more pegs so I can peg this right down to the floor, and get rid of that whole bottom section. This little bit here is great. That just gives me that little bit of airflow. That's all that's needed. And make sure that you've got that little bit of airflow at the bottom. Don't ever peg it down to the bottom. You end up with massive load of condensation. You end up soaked in the morning. All of the inside of your tarp will be dripping. So yeah, that's the setup. Going to clear the ground underneath. Get my bits in. See you guys in a minute. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back, Wednesday Walks. Getting a bit darker now. Probably about 6 o'clock I think. So I thought I'd make a little sort of final video before we get to sort of too dark. Done a bit of a different adjustment, you might notice. I've put a stick that end and lifted it right up. It's not going to be that bad weather tonight, so I thought I'd give myself a little bit of room. Gives me some space to put my new bag down there. Have a look at, well, you've probably already seen the bag. If you haven't, I'm going to make a little short of it anyway. So check that out. Good little bag, that. Really enjoying it. Been nice to sort of have a different bag. The one that I had was great. It was a bit too big, and it didn't really handle the weight. Didn't really have the back system that this has. This bag is heavier empty than my old bag quite a bit, and you can feel that. But with the back system that this has got, it feels like the weight of what's in the backpack is your weight. It feels like it's inside you, and it's very planted in the hips and down the legs sort of thing. Whereas my old bag felt like you had a backpack on. You could feel that weight on your back. So a completely different sort of feel of how this one supports the weight. Getting a bit taken used to, getting a bit, it's taking a bit of getting used to. I've had a few beers, so excuse the slurring. But yeah, it's really decent bag. Really quite happy with it. Hopefully you're happy with the new camera quality as well. Give us a comment down below of how much better that looks on your screen. Obviously it's a bit different once it's all uploaded and stuff. But yeah, just been sitting here chilling, listening to a bit of music, watching the world go by, and loving life really. I touched on we were going over to the Lake District, so I wanted to talk to you about that really. Going to be bringing you guys along obviously. Might even do some like sort of live-ish shorts, so you can sort of go with me along the way. But make sure you're hitting that like button on these videos, guys. Makes a big difference. Get me some subscribers and stuff like that. Gets me out there and view more of the audience and stuff. Only got a few subscribers, so if you've got sort of mates or people that like this sort of stuff, please let them know. Also make sure you check it out my Instagram as well. It's going to be some new pictures and stuff of the Lake District going up on the Instagram as well with this new phone. We're going to be hopefully taking a few more photos, because with the last phone I was a bit sort of hesitant to take a photo because I knew that the picture was going to be sub quality. Obviously, as you've seen on my Instagram already and on my Facebook and stuff, there are good quality pictures, and I can take a good quality picture with a rubbish camera. It's all about setting it up properly, getting the right lighting, and adjusting the settings to the phone and your surroundings and stuff. But hopefully this camera will give me a bit of a better chance of getting better pictures in like low light and difficult situations, whereas the other one was just, I just keep it in my pocket because I knew that even if I tried to take a photo, it would just come out absolutely terribly. And that's just down to the camera, really. Maybe a little bit of user error, but the camera on this one compared to the other one is vastly different. Probably be taking both of my phones with me, just to have a backup if things go wrong. But that might change. I might just take this one. I've got, like I say, that massive power bank, and I've got my ultra powerful charger. So if things do go flat, and maybe a week later things do go flat, I can just nip into a cafe or a coffee shop or a pub or something and just ask them nicely to put it on charge, like I did do many times before. Last time I was out, I think I only had maybe 10 or 15,000 milliamp hour battery, and that would only last sort of 2 or 3 charges, so maybe 2 or 3 days. That was complicated. A lot of time I was spending sort of just sitting there waiting for it to charge. Also, I only brought like a travel adapter charger thing with me, which I now know was only putting out probably a maximum of about 7 or 8 watts. Whereas this charger that I've got will easily put out 15 watts to this new phone, and 100 watts to the battery pack. So massive difference in charging capabilities now, which will keep me going a little bit quicker. By the time I've sort of sorted myself out and had something to eat, or had a coffee or a cake or a biscuit or a sausage roll or whatever, even if it's 20 minutes, half an hour sitting down next to a plug, that will then give me a good solid charge because of the amount of wattage that's going into it. So anyway, enough about the power on side things. I've sort of laid out a few little things. I've got my sleeping bag out, and I've stuck a jacket on now because it's getting a bit cold. We've sprayed the jungle formula. I've put that on myself, I've put that on my skin. Anything that sort of might, these sort of areas of the ankles and stuff, the area of the back where the t-shirt rides up, the back of the neck. And then I've sprayed the tarpaulin as well. Only a little bit on the tarp because it may damage it. So I've only had one mosquito visit me at the moment, but he soon went off. Obviously he did not like the smells of all this stuff, so it's gonna hopefully be a good night here, and we'll probably pick this back up in the morning. We'll have a little stroll through the forest together, and we'll see what's going on tomorrow morning. Really nice and quiet in here. Really nice. So peaceful. Anyway, I'll let you get on to whatever you're doing. probably scrolling through. But enjoy. I hope you're liking this video. Give us a comment down below. I always like to read comments and stuff. And we'll pick it back up in the morning. Have a good night.